In this video, we'll be looking through a box of nickels. We'll be looking for any nickels made before 1960, including war nickels made during World War II, buffalo nickels, and anything made before that. We'll also be looking for any foreigns, proofs, heirs or varieties, or any other cool finds that we can get in the rolls. There are a couple enders that look pretty old, especially in roll 50. That one's very slick, so we'll see what they are when we get to them. And let's start the hunt, and I'll bring you in when we have our first find. Roll number 8, and I was getting a little worried because we went kind of a little bit without a find, but we do have our first Older Jefferson, and it is just a 1957 minted in Philly. Hopefully this box can start heating up. Roll number 10, and I asked if the box could start heating up. I think it did, because I just opened the roll and I flattened it out, and I see a dated buffalo nickel right there. 1936 buffalo nickel. Let's see if there's a mint mark. No mint mark. Philadelphia. Pretty common, but any buffalo nickel is an amazing find. That's a great sign. Roll number 15, and if it wasn't for that buffalo, this box would be pretty terrible. But I bring it in because we finally have our second Older Jefferson, and it's a year I don't see too often, 1951, and it's just to Philadelphia. Roll 19, and we're finally going to get our first 40s nickel of the box, and this one is a 1948 out of Philly. Roll 23, we have another Older Jefferson. It is a 1946 minted in Denver. Roll number 28, we have our fifth Older Jefferson finally. It is a 1949 out of Philly. Let's hope the second half of the box produces some more Older Jeffersons. Roll 31, another 40s nickel, and it is from 1940 and it's minted in Philly. Roll 34, and we finally have our third nickel from the 50s. It is a 1954 from Denver. Roll number 35 had a couple of finds, and one is pretty interesting. First, we just have a 1955 minted in Denver. I know the mint mark's a little weird, but I did look, it's just damage. And then we have a pretty good misaligned die on a 1982P. You can see a pretty thick edge on the left, and then on the right, some of the lettering is cut off. Not on the reverse, so that's how you know it's a misaligned die, just on the obverse. And that's pretty cool. 1982P misaligned die. That's one of the more extreme ones I've found. That's pretty cool. Roll 38, and we have our first roll with more than one Older Jefferson. We have a 1946 out of Philly and a 1959 out of Denver. Next roll, roll number 39, and we have a 1955 minted in Denver. Roll number 40, and the box is definitely heating up in terms of Older Jeffersons because we just got 3 in a row. Oldest was a 1946 out of Philly, also a 53 out of Denver, and a 59 out of Denver as well. Roll number 45, and we have a 1953 minted in San Francisco, which is a date I don't see too often. Roll number 46, and we have a 1941 out of Philly. Roll number 47, and we have another 1955 minted in Denver. Nickel box has been hunted. Let's go over the finds. We had 11 S-mints, no foreigns, no 2009s, but we did have that 1982P misaligned die. In terms of value, probably not worth anything, maybe 10 cents. Pretty rough shape, but still pretty cool find. Did not have too many Older Jeffersons compared to what we usually get. Best one is probably this 1953S, which is a date I don't see too much. And the find of the box was definitely the 1936 Philadelphia minted buffalo nickel. Don't see buffaloes too often, so it's always great when you see one. And even with the lack of overall finds, the buffalo definitely made it a good box.